Hello, hello. So, today is gonna be another off the cuff video, and I thought I'd make it slightly political today. So, also, I'm gonna try a new path and take a look. Um, I think it comes as no surprise if you've seen me on the forums that I'm a big supporter of Palestine. Their right to exist and live in freedom and prosperity. And to be honest, I wouldn't care if Israel disappeared tomorrow or today or even yesterday. It's, that's why it's called isn't real, isn't it? But I digress. I'm diverging off where I wanted to talk. What I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about actually the noticing that's been going on. Because before I left for Turkey, at the gym, I usually work out late after work, and there was a Polish woman there, middle-aged woman, older than me, I think. Yeah, older than me. I am getting a bit old, unfortunately. And there was a Czech guy in the lobby, and because it's Ramadan, and the Czech guy, he was clearly a homeless traveler, I offered to buy the Czech guy a night to stay at some hotel. And the Polish woman, when she saw him later, she asked me, "Who's that guy? Is he going to stay?" Etc. etc. Oh, that sucks. I told him that I told her rather what I told him, that I was going to get him a room. So she thanked me, and we spoke about religion because it was Ramadan and how God is watching. But then we also, like she said something, like alluded to the Jews, like how most religion were strong believers in God. And then I said, yeah, but maybe not Jews. And then she laughed, and I knew it was a bit of a risk, but not so much, because Eastern Europeans are pretty red-pilled on the JQ. So we start talking about Jews, how they're responsible for all sorts of crap, including degeneracy. And we also spoke about how it was now how we were more free now to talk about all this stuff. We weren't hiding it. People are more and more public talking about Jews. Granted, it was just me and her in a gym late night, so not exactly a crowded room. But still, I took a gamble, paid off. Never met this woman before. Yeah, I still remember her name because I liked her name, Natalia. I always like Eastern European names. They're very feminine but strong in a sense too. Reminds me of Turkish names, Turkish women names. So, and then I heard other stories of people just talking about Jews, with friends, co-workers, family, and sometimes even strangers. So people are noticing. People are getting sick of their shenanigans. People are getting sick of their eternal victimhood complex. How there can be no one but them who can suffer, who can be victims, and everybody else is guilty. And if you even say something bad happens to other people, they'll bring up October 7 now. No longer the Holocaust. Holocaust is taking a back seat because now it's all about October 7, so they can kill as many Palestinians as possible, take all the land, and these greedy fucks have already grabbed lots of land in the West Bank. I can't remember the exact number, but it's huge. Largest land grab since 30 years. I think it was 800 hectares. And then they're talking about, not just talking about, advertising even, putting up beach property fronts on Gaza. So yeah, that's that. That's probably why they're so focused on October 7, which becomes more and more funny and sad, and maybe even aggravating, I guess would be a good word, because you find out that first of all, they said there was 1,400 people that died, and there was 15 times 9/11, by proportionally. Then of course, Biden came to Israel, that shithole, and Netanyahu changed it to 20 times 9/11. And if you haven't caught up, in his latest interview, Netanyahu's with the American press, is now almost 30 times 9/11. So, the number, funny enough, keeps rising, even though the official numbers have dropped from 1,400 to 1,200. And what's more, and this is from their own sources, we find out that a lot of the people there were killed by indiscriminate fire by probably soldiers that panicked or something. And you also gotta wonder, why did it take 7 hours in a small strip of land for the army to arrive, right? Lots of things doesn't add up. They have their own AI snuff film that they made, that they show like to influential people with all sorts of horror stories. Apparently, according to that, the disgusting rabbi that was on Candace Owens' show, Hamas soldiers raped women and filmed them and then sent the pictures to the women's fathers, cut babies out, all sorts of weird stuff. I wouldn't even be surprised if it's not even AI stuff, but if they just grabbed like cartel footage and then dubbed it with Arabic. Because these people, they have been caught of taking cartel footage and then saying it was Hamas. And they have been caught using AI pictures. You gotta remember, every Israeli accusation is actually a confession. If they say Hamas has raped women, why do they have such a hard time finding rape victims? Like one woman said that I was emotionally raped and he didn't rape me, but it felt like rape. Like, what the fuck? And then they had to solicitate the police, asking people that were raped to come forth, because they needed evidence. Couldn't find it. Meanwhile, there are plenty of reports, testimonies, statements from both NGOs and victims that Palestinians have been raped. Nobody seems to care about that. I think people do care. This is, I guess, what's called the manufacture of consent. But I don't think that it's going to even work anymore. People are sick of Israel. People are sick of how they always seem to get their way, get all the money, act like disgusting human beings. And nobody says a word. It's like Western government, what, I just can't even say Western government, because Muslim governments also do the same. They bow and script to these fucking Yahudis. Erdogan talks a big game, but does he do anything? No. Ships are still traveling to Israel. It's disgusting. It's one thing to say that we support Palestine and God will judge Israel, but take some fucking action too. God will ask you. You said this and this. Your tongue said this and this, but your hands did nothing. Your actions did nothing. His body's going to testify against him. Because they're going to speak on the day of judgment. So yeah, I can't just say Western nations are cucked. Muslim nations have been cucked too. Whereas Epstein, blackmail, or money, simply fear. Who knows? Countries know, a few ones, that if you stand against Israel, they'll do anything in their power to make your country's life miserable. Sanctions, or if they're close by, killing your professors, especially nuclear scientists, bombing nuclear facilities. Enough is enough. The world has had enough of these Jews. The world has had enough of these Zionist kikes. Yeah, I said that word, but whatever. It was the kite word, you know. Yeah. I don't even care if I use that word, to be honest. They're killing children. And we're supposed to mind our language and what we say about them? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Even animals, they're not even safe either. There are plenty of footage of the IOF, not the IDF, because that's what they really are. They're the Israeli occupying force, not the defense force. What the fuck are they defending? There are videos of them shooting horses. Just horses roaming around. Free. No owners, no nothing. Just two horses roaming around. And a tank shoots them. Come on, people. I swear sometimes Turks need to grab a page out of the Danish book, or maybe even Slovenian book, and treat the environment better. You can't just throw stuff here. Treat your environment better. Turkey, as you can see, is a beautiful country, so let's keep it beautiful. But yeah, even animals, dogs, cats too, like they just throw around cats, don't care. Donkeys, blow them up, shoot them. Horses, as I just mentioned. Cows. And in the West Bank, treat people like garbage. There's no Hamas in the West Bank, but they still shoot people, steal houses, take children's clothes off and just tear it apart for fun. And they brag about it too. And they brag about stopping the convoys to Gaza. They have rave parties, singing and dancing, and how they're all gonna starve. You know, even Western media that usually always gloss over this fact, you know, or neuter their language to make Israel seem like a good guy. Even they can't hide it. And even they are starting to get disgusted. I think not too long ago there was a internal conflict in CNN saying that they're sick and tired of how only Israeli voices were allowed and Palestinian voices apparently didn't matter, how language has to be changed. For example, if an Israeli strikes, kill 20 civilians, right? It will say bombardment kills, or 20 dies under bombardment. They avoid the word kill even too, because kill has negative connotations to it. So yeah, and for all the people that tend to lean right, which a lot of people in our Discord does, stop following these controlled opposition accounts. They all revealed themselves on who they were on October 7. They're all Israeli shells. Their goal, they have only one goal, and that's to make you angry, that's to make you upset, and that's to fill you with despair. They're gonna focus on shit that doesn't affect them, like this Ian guy, the Malaysian guy. He doesn't even fucking live in the United States or in Europe. But all he talks about is Europe, Western Europe, and the United States, and probably also Canada a lot too. Countries that doesn't affect them. And he does that intentionally because it's a good gig. People like hearing about, oh, these Western leftists, they don't even know what the gender is. Like, get the fuck out of here. It's not fucking rocket science. Figure out that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. You know, how long can you milk this. All right. What you do is you just don't vote for these idiots that want to push this LGBTQ crap. That's it. And you argue logically against it, but you don't make it your whole fucking personality and identity, because that's what they care about. Drinking beer, complaining about this dumb shit. You know, I think that's a personality. And then they'll get all their talking points from Ben Shapiro or fucking Kermit the Frog, Jordan Peterson. And all the while, their mind gets receptive of how great Israel is. Because if you go to like videos like PragerU, every 5th or 6th video will be something about Israel or Jews or always Judeo-Christian values. Why don't you ask your grandparents if back in the day they also only talked about Judeo-Christian values? I think that shit probably only started around the 60s, or maybe after the death of JFK. Sorry about that. Looks pretty, doesn't it? When it's clean, it's very pretty. Anyway, so these control opposition accounts, obviously outside of shilling for Israel, they also want to fill your mind and heart with despair on how everything sucks, how all women are bad, you know. Like it makes men hate women. Now it's already bad enough that a lot of women and girls, especially, are dumb, not rational, and make like idiotic choices. But young people can easily be shaped. So you gotta have a strong family unit to begin with, and make sure you raise your children right. And seeing women all as whores, you know, pump and dump and then leave, that's not going to work out either, because then you're just perpetuating it. You're making them think that men are only good for fucking, just as you think women are only good for fucking. And then by the time you both reach an age where you want to settle down, one, you're going to have a hard time finding a woman that's not a slut, and two, the woman is going to find a hard time of a guy finding someone that doesn't want to have her because she has a high body count. So focus on your family, focus on religion, avoid these accounts that just fill your heart with despair, your mind and heart with anger. They only exist to feed off negative emotion. They live off clickbait. Avoid them, avoid them, avoid them. I have a list on my Twitter account of control opposition's account. If you're curious, you can check them out and you can see all these people that are shilling and worshipping Israel. And these are all on the right, because I know that you guys don't care about what people on the left says. Frankly, neither do I. Majority of them are dumb fucks anyway. It's harder and harder to call myself a leftist these days, because I don't care about the shit that they talk about. Taking a breather. Been walking up pretty high. I think I might actually return. I've been talking for 15 minutes. 19 minutes. This is probably going to be my longest video yet. I'll be uploading that when I come to Konya. I can't do it here because here the internet is super slow, and my Teze, my mother's cousin, she buys like packages, so she doesn't. It's not like a constant flow. So if I upload, I'll probably eat everything up. So I'll be uploading this in Konya or someplace else that has internet. Because if there's no internet in our house in Konya, I'll have to go to a hotel because I need an internet connection for work. Anyway, let's go back to talking about the Jews. So you're probably familiar with this name, Norman Finkelstein. Apparently he's a self-hating Jew, according to all the Zionists. But he also wrote a book called what was it called? The Holocaust Industry. Yeah, I read that in my 20s, so it's been a while. But in that book, he goes through on how the Jews they didn't even have family members in the Holocaust or had nothing to do with it, milk the states from, and they used it as both propaganda to get their way and also to milk money out of Germany or money out of other countries to get rich, get free stuff, lots of free money, lots of free sympathy, and they're doing it now too. And this time, like I said, it's no longer a Holocaust because they can't pull that card all the time, especially since Palestinians don't have anything to do with it. So now it's all October 7th, which I explained before. Now there's probably some good news, even though this isn't good news, because children are literally eating grass in Palestine to avoid starving to death. There's a fucking famine there, and they're blocking the convoys to the point that even the United States has to give tiny slaps on the wrist to Israel. But we all know that's fucking symbolic. They're not gonna do anything, especially not with a Democratic president. The Democrats are even more. Democrats and Republicans, they're both extremely pro-Israel. Trump was also very pro-Israel, but when his term ended, he cursed Netanyahu, and I think he's wisened up a bit that the Israelis are lying dogs. So who knows? But like I said, the good news is there seems to be higher casualty numbers amongst their soldiers than is reported. And you have to remember they're a small country, and Hamas has been killing a lot of their officers. If we go to Chip, that's the Chip on Pole, you'll see plenty of footage of IDF soldiers getting killed. And all these footage of tanks being hit by I can't remember the name, but it's a customized rocket propelled grenade. I think it's called Al Yassin 2. They have shown footage of what it looks like in the tank inside. So apparently there are two charges, one that creates the bigger explosion and the smaller one that penetrates inside the tank and creates the small explosion. And that's the one that fries people up on the inside, which is good. May God curse all these Israeli dogs. So they seem to have a numbers issue. The ultra-Orthodox, they also don't want to fight. Jews are by nature cowards. You can see that in the footage. They'll run away and abandon their own. I like to talk tough because they've been pushing their propaganda and how great Jews are and how honorable they are in Western media, particularly in the US. But push comes to shove, they're self-serving satanic cowards. And they care more about their own life than anything else. So let's all in our prayers wish good on Hamas. You gotta remember, most countries in the world do not consider Hamas a terrorist organization, okay? Only Western nation does, and some of the few Eastern nations. You know that meme, the international world, and it always shows the same countries. Europe, North America, and a few countries in the East. It's like that. Majority of the world does not consider Hamas a terrorist organization, including Turkey, which I'll give props to. I may not like that Erdogan does not do anything, but at least he does not consider Hamas a terrorist organization. So yeah, that's that. And, let's see, anything else I want to get off my chest about this? I think I ranted about the control opposition accounts. They're actually very easy to spot too. Like as soon as I see like Reddit lies, right? You just gotta search the search field and you'll easily find out that they don't consider Palestine a country, etc. You got TikTok lies that's run by a Zionist Jew. You got that Sam Harris, I mean he's a Jew, so yeah, obviously no big brainer. But he got clout by Chomsky on his correspondence with him about Israel, etc. Like he makes these retarded arguments, and I cannot understand why no one would consider him intelligent. Like in his retarded argument, oh, well, it's better that the Israeli does it than the Palestinians do it, because if the Palestinians had the power, it would be like a massacre. Like, he concocts a scenario that's not realistic in his own mind to justify things that's happening in reality. It's like saying, walk up to a guy and rob him, and says, well, it's better I get the money because I'm going to use it more responsibly than you do, because if you kept the money, you would probably have blown it on booze or whores or something, without even knowing if that's going to happen. You can justify anything with that. Concoct any fictional scenario, and you can justify it. That's why Sam Harris is a dumb fuck. And of course, you got that little weasel Ben Shapiro. I mean, no big fucking surprise there. He's Israeli first, even proudly states that he only supports America because America supports Israel. Like, how fucking more obvious can you get? And yet people like him have a crowd. I don't fucking get it. Then you got these Jew brothers. Anything with a Jewish last name, you can cross off. Unfollow. Don't block them, because you can't add them to like a list or anything like that, like I do, because I want to keep them on a list. I don't look at the list, but if somebody asks about, hey, what controlled opposition accounts are there, I can link to the list and then they can see them. Then you got PragerU, Jewish, Breitbart, Jewish, Daily Wire, Jewish, and you got, of course, the good guys, typically American evangelics, boomers or athletes, etc., especially dumb black people. I'm not saying all black people are like that, obviously, but a lot of the larger black people, when I say large, I mean people with a larger audience, they also worship Israel. So God bless Candace Owens. She took a stand. She's obviously not going to call out the Jew, but she is, she's calling out those she thinks should be called out. And let's see where she leans. But, God bless her. I don't give a shit. This is another thing that pisses me off about left. Like, they're all going, oh, she's a grifter. First she was a leftist, now she's a rightist. And now she's trying to go on the Palestinian side. Like, who gives a fuck, motherfucker? As long as she's waking people up. Like, I can't stand these purity policing. People are dying. I don't think anyone's gonna care, like, if someone is a grifter or not, as long as people are being woken up. And if you want to actually do something yourself, I'm not saying go to war or anything like that, but there's an app called No Thanks, and I'm gonna try and figure out how to link it in the description below. I'm not exactly a YouTube guy, but I'll figure it out. But there's a No Thanks app that scans products, and you can find out if they support Israel. And that doesn't mean if they're sold in Israel, but if they support Israel. Support Israel means like they support investments or constructions of buildings in like occupied lands, or they support the troops, or send money to weapons facilities, etc., etc. Like that, direct support. So I would download that app, and yeah, there's going to be a lot of products that you're going to have to cross off your shopping list, but the majority of these products, folks, are products that are actually harmful for you. So you're not going to miss out on anything. Oh wow, you can't drink Coca-Cola anymore because they support us. Oh wow, what a big fucking loss. Like, one of the most poisonous drinks in the world. It's already super bad for you. It's already full of sugar. Now you can't drink that, or you're boycotting it. What a big fucking loss. Or hair products like Head and Shoulders. Head and Shoulders is quite bad apparently, and I think that's true because I stopped using it for quite a while, and my hair has actually become better. So there's something with Head and Shoulders that fucks you up, even though they advertise that they're anti-dandruff. Now I don't use it, and my hair's a lot better. My hair's a lot better. Gillette, there are alternatives to everything. You don't have to use Gillette. Just scan everything. That also includes fashion. Ralph Lauren. Oh, great. Well, just buy something else. Buy Hugo Boss. Hugo Boss is okay. You can buy Hugo Boss. There are plenty of other fashion labels that does not support Israel. So you can starve them economically. You can starve companies from supporting that piece of shit country. That shouldn't even exist. Well, what do you know? The mosque is already there. You walk back downhill much faster. It almost looks like a small makeshift bridge. That would not hold my weight at the end. Way too much. Yeah, the smaller end of that might crack, and it's too small for me to walk over. Like I couldn't keep the balance. So that's what something you can do. You can boycott them. Obviously, you can also red pill everybody. I don't know how you start. You should probably start a bit slow, and especially if you come from a Christian family, you should expose what the Jews think about Christians and Jesus Christ. Peace be upon him. Because the Talmud does not talk nicely about Jesus, peace be upon him. And the Jews have been caught many times unfiltered. And I don't even think, caught even is not even the right word. They don't care. They'll loudly brag and yell. And how, oh, his mother, speaking about the prophets, his mother is a whore, and we killed him, we nailed him, he's a dog. They'll spit it out as they say it, and curse the Christian, usually dumb American Christians that come to Israel thinking they're God's chosen people. And they'll just curse the name of Jesus, peace be upon him. And you should maybe also ask Christian relatives that you have that how come all these ancient churches, world's oldest churches, how come they were safe under Muslim rule? How come they were safe under, the Crusader lords, under the Turks, under the English at that short time period? But then when these Jews come in power, they bomb them, they kill people, Christians, they shoot them in the street, they don't even care. They try to cook up excuses, but then you find out it's not true, that they lied. And how come they ignore interviews from Palestinian Christians that's been living there? They say it straight up. The Jews, they treat us as second-class citizens, So ask yourself that, how can they claim to be Christians and support the enemies of Christendom and support those that kill their brothers in faith? This evangelical shit, it's poison, man. It's almost tailor-made for the Jews to have a religion that worships them and acts like good guys, so they can send out young Christian soldiers to die for them. But they fucked up too, because the way that they poison Western media and Western culture. There's more and more people are now obese. They become Jewish in that they're self-serving and satanic and don't care about anyone else. There's no American soldiers today that's gonna die for Israel unless they're completely brainwashed. And most of the young people today are either too fat, out of shape, or sick, or self-serving to give a shit about joining the military, let alone die for that disgusting country like Israel. Gen Z, as much as we have fun with them, how they talk, on cap and for real, and ONG and all that, they're pretty base because they're not filtered by, or they don't consume filtered media. They consume stuff like TikTok, Twitter, where it's much easier to get information and get the truth out. That's why the Jews were trying to pay off TikTok influencers $5,000 or something like that. I probably hired the more followers you got, giving pro-Israeli talking points. It's going to happen though with Twitter, unfortunately. Elon is a cuck. You can't even search for Jews did 9/11 on Twitter. So there we go. I'm coming back. I need to clean my nose when I get back. I'm full of running snot. These houses are cool, huh? It's a shame about the internet here. If you had fast internet, this place would almost be perfect. The only thing that you do need a car though, because the nearest supermarket's 45 minutes away, 20 minutes away, I think. There's a big dog again. The dogs here are big. Anyway, thanks for listening. This was a 35 minutes long video, I think. Almost 35. And I'm going to put the description, or the link rather, in the description to the No Thanks app when I upload this. Thanks, everyone.